माय नेम इज अमित सांगेकर. मेरा नाम है अमित सांगेकर. माझं नाव आहे अमित सांगेकर. वेलकम टू बियॉन्ड रीडिंग विथ यू सीजन 2 session 3 where we do poetry reading and more. I just realized a couple of days back that today would be, or today is, the birth anniversary, not by the Gregorian calendar, but by the Bengali calendar, the Jayanti or the birth Jayanti of Rabindranath Tagore. So it is the Rabindra Jayanti today, and I thought I would start off this particular session by paying my tribute. Oops, there are some issues here. Okay, yeah. Thank you. Somebody said they couldn't hear me properly. Okay, thanks. So I would start off my session by offering my tribute to him through one of his poems, which was shared by a dear friend Madhura, who herself is a very good poet and has just about finished a session with one of her office online catch-ups. So this is my tribute through one of Rabindranath Tagore's own poem. The title of the poem is Journey Home. The time that my journey takes is long, and the way of it long. I came out on the chariot of the first gleam of light and pursued my voyage through the wilderness of worlds, leaving my track on many a star and planet. It is the most distant course that comes nearest to myself, and that training is the most intricate, which leads to the utter simplicity of a tune. The traveler has to knock at every alien door to come to his own, and one has to wander through all the outer worlds to reach the innermost shrine at the end. My eyes strayed far and wide before I shut them and said, "Here art thou." The question and the cry, "Oh, where?" melt into tears of 1,000 streams and deluge the world with the flood of the assurance, "I am." That's some lovely lines by Rabindranath Tagore. Tagore, in fact, through this poem is actually charting out his own path or describes his own life journey, where he says that he came into this world with a lot of hope. Then he went through upheavals, where the discovery of self happened much later. That is his life, in his own words. And there are several such instances in which Tagore has spoken about some beautiful things about his various elements of his life. This kind of encompasses his whole life into a few verses together. And speaking on life, we are today in a kind of a situation where each one of us wants to lead a kind of a healthy life. So what does healthy life mean to each one of us? And what could we do to actually make it slightly a bit better? Our own immunity is something which a lot of us are currently addressing on a more regular basis. And to speak more about this topic, we have with us Prachi Rege, who is a dietitian by profession. And till the time I add her, I'll give you a small introduction about her. I will shut off the comments in some time. So, Prachi is a registered dietitian with HCPC UK. She serves clients across the globe. Hey, hi, Prachi.
Hi, Amit.
Prachi, I may have to request you to
Yes.
turn if you can.
Okay.
Yes. Because otherwise everybody would have seen you. Yeah, this is better.
Okay, I'll have to hold my phone.
And if
Okay, yeah.
this is perfect. Thank you, Prachi. So
Okay.
people,
Okay.
this is Prachi. Thank you so much, Prachi, for being on this session. Prachi, as I said, is a dietitian by profession. She holds a master's degree in food science, nutrition, and dietetics. She is the founder of Nutri Nurture, an online nutrition counseling service, which has clients across the globe. And today, especially, the session which Prachi is going to speak to us on is called C for Corona and I for Immunity. I like the way she has actually named it. Sounds very nice. Not the C for Corona. The I for Immunity sounds very nice. But yes, Prachi, I will hand this over to you. I have some of your slides at mind. I'll try and project them. If there is any problem which you see on screen, let me know. I'm going to shut off the comments at this moment, which are coming on your screen. But people can still pop in their questions at the question mark sticker, which is there at the bottom of the screen. So I will get them on the side. So if you let me know, people have any questions, just keep them popping in. So Prachi, over to you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, Amit, for this wonderful introduction. So so today the session that I thought about is to talk about immunity, because that's everybody is talking about it these days, and we just want to I want to connect that to our Indian herbs and spices that we have in our kitchen, and then boost our immunity naturally. Yeah. So I just have 15 minutes, guys. So I'm going to go as fast as possible. So I'll take your questions, and if I'm unable to answer some of it, I will take them offline too. Yeah. So all right. So when we say immunity, 1 minute, sorry. Okay, can you see me now? Okay, sorry. So this is my first session, guys, on live session. So I'm a little nervous. Okay, so I'm going to try my best here. Okay, so when we say immunity, is there a particular immunity organ or immunity tissue that we are referring to? Not really. It's a collection of different systems that are working together to give us that power to fight against many diseases and infections, right? So there is nothing. So when we are referring to immunity, we are actually talking about general health, all total well-being and health altogether, right? So and so this immunity is basically a first and the last line of defense in our human body to help us protect from the diseases, to prevent us from the diseases, and to help us recover as well from the diseases, right? So and thanks to the corona thing that is going around well, not thanks as such, but because of corona scare and this pandemic, many people are getting acquainted with this word immunity. All right. So my inbox used to be full of questions like, "Ma'am, what do I do for weight loss? Is green tea good for weight loss? Is this particular exercise is good for weight loss?" Is now changed to, "What do I do to improve my immunity?" So basically, things are changing, and we should really be changing the way we live in today's scenario. Yeah. So the first slide. So see, when we talk about any disease, guys, any disease, or whether it is weight loss or weight gain or anything that we refer to when it comes to our health, remember that nothing ever works in isolation. Yeah. So you think that diet alone is going to help? No, not really. Exercise alone is going to help? Not really. So it's a collective effort of many important health pillars that I refer to. So first is your diet, of course, then is your exercise, then is your sleep, which plays an extremely essential role in our immunity, and then fourth is our some mindfulness techniques. So it's a complete holistic thing that approach that we have to take to build our immunity. Yeah. So first point is about our diet, that everybody, I know you guys are really interested in knowing what to eat, what not to eat, and things like that. Yeah. So let's not get obsessed over, oh my god, am I eating right for my building my immunity and things like that. Let's not get obsessed with that. All we have to do is just eat simple ghar ka khana, simple wholesome meals, right? And it can be just as simple as dal chawal. It can be as simple as rajma chawal. It can be, if you are, if you are in country like UK, maybe a jacket potato, which is a wholesome meal. We are having all your macros, which is your carbs, protein, fat, wow, and of course the micros with some avocado dip on top and some beans, so that is a wholesome meal altogether, you see. So we are talking about all the macros like carbs, protein, fats, and all the micros, which is your vitamins, minerals, phytochemicals, antioxidants. So when our diet is comprised of all these all these essential food groups, that is what makes a balanced meal plan. Okay. Right? And then, people often ask me, like, what kind of foods can I introduce in today's situation when we don't have an access to certain foods, So just stock up on some versatile foods. For example, rice being number one on the list, because
Yeah.
with rice we can make dosa, idlis, pancakes, bhakri, roti, so many things, pulao, biryanis, khichdis. So stock up on millet flour, stock up on your whole grains like rice. If you can find unpolished rice, wow, well, and it is really good if you have an access to some wild rice or red rice or
Correct.
unpolished rice. So whole grains is what we are talking about, and not the refined flour for sure. Many shopkeepers are now out of refined flour, maida and yeast in India.
The
Can you
baking
imagine that?
sensation and the cooking
Yes.
sensation has become. You mentioned a very important point about
Yeah.
millets right
Yeah.
now, and I
Yeah.
think
Hmm.
we have another listener on the session right now called Preeti, and she has
Yeah.
been actually speaking about these grains from your rural places or your villages, which have long been forgotten and possibly
Wow.
not being
Yes.
included.
Yeah. Hmm. So fortunately, these millets are coming back into the nutrition industry now.
Right.
What once considered was a poor man's food is now actually, it's a hype in the market,
Right.
So be it your kodo millet or foxtail, even the sama chawal that we have, which is your fasting chawal, the
Correct.
bhagar, what we call, or barnyard millet. So there's so many tiny millets apart from our jawar and ragi and bajra that must make a comeback into our diets. And do not over dominate on one particular grain ever. So
Wow.
be it your
Okay.
wheat, be it your rice. So there are many people who will always start their day with a paratha, again lunch roti sabzi, again dinner roti sabzi. So what I'm trying to tell you here is that diversify your grains, because every grain comes with its own goodness, right?
True.
So that's about our macros that we spoke about. What other important nutrients that we need to focus is on? Of course, everybody knows proteins, right? They are the main building blocks of our health, and every cell is a protein. So definitely we need to kind of boost our protein intake. But what kind of proteins again? Okay, shall we have more of animal proteins or plant based proteins? So in today's situation, I would recommend mainly the whole food plant based regime mostly
Right.
over animal proteins. Why? Because number one, we are in summers. Number two, we are the animal proteins basically gives rise to acidic pH in the blood, and viruses love this acidic environment. So we want to keep our blood pH as alkaline as possible.
Okay.
Okay, so the proteins that are wholesome, which are your beans, your legumes, your dals, your nuts and seeds and makhana, chana sattu, something that you can have it as a cooling
Ah.
drink, protein rich drink. So these are all protein rich sources, and believe me, if you are not able to have your chicken and eggs and the meat, that is absolutely fine, because we are going to get enough of plant proteins through all these plant sources as well.
Which I
Okay.
presume is
um
primarily a lot of concern for a lot of people, especially, is like, am I just eliminating proteins because I'm not having non-vegetarian, or is it, or I'm not looking for something which is beyond non-vegetarian?
Absolutely. See, like, for example, when I see, like, in my 18 years of experience, when I have been going through the reports of many Jain people, or say Gujaratis, who are restricting their many, many different things that they don't eat. But I have never seen a protein deficiency, that they are globulin deficient or, albumin deficient. So there is something that we need to learn
Good
from it. See,
observation. Yeah.
guys, remember, yeah, protein industry is a big money making industry. We must understand that. Yeah. So we really need to think, and take a proper balance. High uric acid levels, everybody, one in like five of us will have high uric acid level, and
Correct.
that again is linked to lot of animal protein consumption. So
Understood.
please have a fair balance
Fair
of your
balance. Yeah.
protein over plant based. Yeah. Then coming to the zinc, that again is a very essential micro mineral, that is micro nutrient, that is important for building our immunity. And guess what? All these protein sources that we just spoke about, they are also high in zinc
Zinc.
already. Yeah. And whole grains, dark chocolate are other sources of your zinc. Okay. Coming to vitamin D, it's not a vitamin; it's a hormone in itself, and it's an immunomodulator. So even in COVID patients' treatment, vitamin D is now used, and they are seeing some fantastic results also with this supplementation of vitamin D because it is dealing with your immunity, right?
Right.
And it's an epidemic. We know vitamin D deficiency is an epidemic, so we really need to look at your vitamin D levels. Yeah, if
Yeah.
you have never checked it before, you have never ever done your blood checks. Of course, this is not the time to go and check your blood for vitamin D, but
Correct.
try and talk to your GP or your health practitioner or a doctor and start with a minimal dose at least of a supplement. Yeah,
Correct.
because see, I don't promote supplements as such because they don't give you what natural food can give. But vitamin D, unfortunately, it's a sunshine vitamin, and we don't get it through food as much as it is
Right.
required by the body.
True.
Yeah, so supplement is an answer for that. And otherwise, you can also consider going out in the sun. 10 to 2 p.m. is the time that we want to take maximum sunshine for 20 minutes. And according to many Ayurvedic experts, they always say that if you expose your belly area and your back area and apply some oil on your those areas, you will be able to absorb as much vitamin D.
It looks like
Yeah,
sunbathing
because
actually came after
yeah.
scientific explanations rather than anything else. Yeah.
Exactly. In India we have this practice, right? Infants are always
Yes.
they
Very
usually,
much.
yeah,
Correct.
So that's the same logic behind that. And then vitamin C, again, we all know that it is again important for white blood cell production and things like that. So mango is a season now. It's in season, so please have one mango a day. Vitamin C, vitamin A, beta carotene, antioxidant, everything. Yeah, your green leafy vegetables, your herbs, your bell peppers, your capsicum, is kiwis, melons. They are all vitamin C. And if you don't have access to any of these fruits, you can just simply take one whole lemon a day. Yeah, just
Wow.
add lemon
Okay.
juice, yeah, lemon water, and try considering chewing at least one fourth wedge of a lemon. Just try chewing it with the skin itself, because
Okay.
skin also has a lot to do with your immunity and disease fighting
Very
properties as well.
interesting.
Yeah, so that's mainly about nutrients that we need to focus on as a
Correct.
layperson. All right, and then this is not a time to go for any fad diet, guys. So no keto, no paleo, no Atkins, GM, liquid, low calorie,
Yeah.
detox. Please don't go for any diets which has a name and which has just come up in the market recently. We don't want to go through that. Just make sure you are eating balanced and wholesome.
Understood.
Okay, so that's much about the diet part. Coming to the sugar, yeah, please stay away from white sugar as much as possible, because the experts are saying that even 1 teaspoon of white sugar is reducing your immunity by 50% for next 2 hours. So you can imagine, just 5 grams of sugar is doing that to us. So
Correct.
please stay away as much as possible. Okay, next is about herbs. If you can just go to the next
I'll go.
slide. Yeah. So it is about these are our real heroes of the kitchen, and these are the things that are actually going to help us in building our immunity. So and the list is endless. If I start talking about it, I can just talk about it for 2 hours. But some of them that we really need to focus is the turmeric and black pepper combination, of course. So if you're
Correct.
taking 1 teaspoon of turmeric, you can add 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper to it for the better absorption of curcumin, which is the antioxidant found in
Oh.
turmeric.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So even if you're having turmeric in your masale ka dabba, always mix it with the black pepper and keep. So in whatever curries and vegetables you're adding, that you're having the combination of
That is a very
both.
interesting tip. Yeah. Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So then next is your star anise, or what we call chakri ful in Hindi, and that is something is a very high in it's very high in a biologically active compound known as shikimic acid, and this is the compound that is found in a vaccine that is named Tamiflu. So it is used to treat flu-like symptoms.
Okay.
So you can imagine the powerful benefits of this particular spice. So
I think the
simply
name
boil
Tamiflu
stuff.
became very common
Yeah.
to people during the last
Yeah.
H1N1, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So you can just simply boil the water with star anise and drink that water like a herbal decoction kind of a thing.
Okay.
Yeah, or make a powder, put it into your teas or your vegetable curries or wherever.
Right.
So apart from that, of course, the clove, coriander seeds, jeera, soft, excellent properties again. Kalonji, has some very interesting facts that came across in this corona episode, and they are saying that hydroxychloroquine, which is the compound used, to treat now,
Yeah.
it is a derivative of thymoquinone, which is found in kalonji. That's what they're saying, and you must have kalonji is the theory that is going across. So we don't know how true is that and how it's going to be beneficial, but hey, never mind. Kalonji has some excellent antiviral properties.
Correct.
So you can definitely include 1 teaspoon of kalonji in your roti ka atas or wherever tadkas or whatever.
Correct.
Okay. Ginger benefits, we already know. Ginger, garlic, these are again immunity boosters. Curry leaves is something is, abundantly available, freely available. And we should be having a lot of curry leaves in the diet to boost, the immunity and of course for antiviral properties.
Right.
So that's mainly about the diet part and how you can incorporate the spices and how
Okay.
the diet should look like. Now, apart from that, we should talk about a little bit of exercise as well. So can we have a next slide?
Yes.
Regular exercise is very, very important. It's not like exercise is not something that is meant just for the weight loss, right? 20 minutes is, WHO says that at least 20 minutes we should be doing it daily for a lot of health benefits, blood circulation, immunity booster, for many organ functions,
Correct.
many different benefits. So what kind of exercise? If you're a beginner, at least try to anything that you can enjoy, anything that you can be consistent with, anything that you can basically it will not injure you or overtire you. So start with some simple walks at home.
Okay.
Or Surya Namaskar. Consider doing Surya Namaskar because it's a complete workout altogether, combination of cardio and strength training together, right? So we can do that as well. So, but please get started with at least 20 minutes of exercise daily. All right.
Interesting.
And don't be a weekend warrior, because sometimes people, what they do is, they won't work out for Monday to Friday because they don't get time. And then on weekend, suddenly they want to do the, put in like 3 hours of the workout. So
Correct.
over training is not going to help.
I think it's
at
pretty
all.
much like sleep too. A lot of people try to compensate sleep on one day,
Compensate.
and it really doesn't
Yes.
work because the
Yes,
rest of the
absolutely.
week you have actually exhausted your body so much that simply just
Very
making
true.
up for it is not the way to do it.
Absolutely, very true. Exactly. So that is what, whatever we are doing, there has to be a discipline, and dedication toward it. So consistency is the key in everything that we do.
Correct.
So that's about exercise. Next is, very, very important thing, and that is our sleep, and because sleep helps to build our T cells, and that is basically responsible for mainly building our immunity and things like that. So there are tons of studies on sleep and immunity, so, and it is just not, it's not about just taking 7 to 8 hours of sleep anytime, if you're
Right.
eating the wholesome meal and watching Netflix every day till 2 a.m., it's
Correct.
still not going to save the purpose. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so please respect body circadian rhythm. Yeah. Because sleeping on time, eating on time has some benefits, and that is why it is being, the way it is. So we should be respecting that. And it has a lot to do with something, to do with our gut health also. You
Okay.
must have heard that 75 to 80% of our immunity is built from the gut, happy tummies. Yeah. So the tummy is going to be happy and healthy only if you are going to follow this biological clock.
Right.
Right. So please respect that. And people often ask me about intermittent fasting also, that that is also a way of respecting our circadian rhythm, because nowadays it's become a fad that people are into, oh, I'm doing intermittent fasting, I'm doing these many hours and this things like that.
Correct.
But if you see in the olden days, people were already finishing their meal before sunset, and they were not able to eat their first breakfast, before, I mean, they used to complete their rituals, their puja and everything, and then, so they were already naturally fasting for 12 to 14 to 16 hours, you see.
Correct.
So that is where intermittent fasting has come from. and we should be respecting that. Rather, people are, what they're doing, they're skipping their breakfast and then they are eating, whatever hours. So
Right.
that's not how it should be. So take your meals as early as possible. That's what we want to do in
Correct.
lockdown. Yeah, because otherwise people are having, we always eat 9:30, 10 o'clock. There is no time that people eat, and that's what is actually affecting our digestion.
True.
And as I said, if the tummy is not happy, then of course the immunity is not going to be
Not
happy,
to be.
right?
Correct.
So yeah, so please respect that rhythm. And of course, the last point is about mindfulness techniques. So anything, meditation, pranayama, anything that you can do. Now let's not give an excuse here that I don't have time. Hey, we are saving on 1 or 2 hours of travel every day. So we can take out 20 minutes of exercise and 20 minutes of this meditation for sure. And it's not because some spiritual master is asking us to do this. It's a proven science. We know that meditation brings changes at the cellular level, at the DNA level. It brings in metamorphosis. It has cured many diseases. So these things definitely have some role to play in our immunity. So please start doing that if you have never done it before. Yeah, that's it. So when we are going to incorporate all these 5 things,
Right.
we are going to turn our bodies into disease fighting machines. And yeah, that's it actually for today. So that's all the main points that I wanted to discuss.
Wow.
So thank you so much. Yeah, thank you again.
Brilliant, Prachi,
I'm
thank
open
you
for the
so
questions.
much.
Yeah.
Now give me a minute because
Okay.
I have some questions which are there. Let me just try and put them off.
Sure.
Yeah, one of the questions which had come was about. Okay, this was somebody. I don't know. Can you see it on your screen?
No, not actually. I'm not able to
No,
read
fair
any
enough. So I'll read out the
questions.
question. It says, what simple foods or meals could we make with basic ingredients to build immunity?
Right. So it is the same thing that we really discussed about, versatile foods. We just make sure that you're having a right combination of proteins and carbs and some fiber. So some kind of a salad or a saute or a stir fry vegetable to go with it. So
Okay.
that's how, and then you can just sprinkle some seeds also on top for,
Okay.
the vitamin E and the antioxidants and things like that.
Correct. The other question was about, I think, and this was from my dear friend Preeti, was about tea. Is there,
Okay.
are there different kinds of teas nowadays which are available? Now, is one
Yeah.
tea better than the other? Are any teas recommended specifically for immunity?
Okay, very good question. So basically, tea, when we talk about, be it white tea or black tea or oolong tea or green tea, it comes from the same plant, Camellia sinensis.
Okay.
What makes green or white or black depends on the processing. So the least processed tea and thus the higher in antioxidant content will be your white tea, followed by the green tea and then the black tea.
Okay.
Okay, so you can incorporate white tea also, green tea also, and black tea also. But black tea is also again high in caffeine, so you might want to just restrict to 1 or 2 cups a day. It's
Okay.
not bad at all. It also has a lot of antioxidants rather, but you might want to restrict. But I can understand why she's kind of asking this question about tea, because many people, when we live in countries like UK and places where it's colder outside, you are addicted to drinking something hot in nature. So you're not actually craving for the tea as such, but you want to drink something hot. So
Correct.
you might want to try something herbal, like herbal kadha, or that herbal decoction, what we call, simply boiling the spices and herbs that are available locally to you. It can be basil, it can be oregano, it can be rosemary, sage, it can be any spice or herb that is locally and seasonally available in your area. Yeah, and just boil that and drink. That's a perfect tea to have.
I think you mentioned it very rightly at the end that is what people tend to forget nowadays. What is available locally and seasonally? Those are the two right words. A lot of times people miss that out and hence look out for exotic stuff which may be expensive as well as not available.
Absolutely, yes. So and if you see the price of tea, if you really go for a best quality tea, it costs us a bomb, like oolong and white tea.
Correct.
It is very expensive stuff. So we really don't have to spend so much money for the immunity. We
Right.
have tons of other options available.
True. There was somebody
Yeah.
who had asked about her toddler. She
Yeah.
says, this is Teenum. I don't think she's online currently, but she had left the question.
Okay. Okay.
She says she gives her toddler the elderberry syrup every day. Is
Okay.
there anything else
Okay.
you would recommend in terms of building the toddler's immunity?
Okay, so elderberry, syrup is a kind of must-to-have protocol in the cold and the flu season in many countries.
Okay.
What we see when we give any syrup or a supplement to a toddler or anyone, for adults also for that matter, what we really need to look at is the content or the nutrition label, what we call, or
Correct.
the ingredients, because there can be sugar, there can be artificial sweetener, the flavor, the color, the gelling agent, the stabilizer to come for the particular texture. So it might do more harm than adding some benefits.
Okay.
So you really need to go for something that is very organic and natural, number one. Okay, number two, what else can you do? Same thing, we can introduce the spices in kids' diet as early as after 9 months in a very, very small quantities. So turmeric, pepper can be safely given to them in a small pinch.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Okay.
And just make sure their sleeping patterns are in place.
Right.
He's sleeping well, of course. And again, his diet plays a very important role. Only elderberry is not going to help, right? So we need to see whether he's having enough amount of whole grains or the mashed vegetables or fruits, some nuts, that kind of a thing.
Right.
So, and one interesting thing would be, we can even, the spices that I just spoke about, if the kid is not able to have it in the form of water or the vegetable curries, you can make a small candy kind of a thing.
Okay.
With the pepper, haldi, all the spices mixed with some jaggery and ghee, and make a small ball. In fact, I have it handy in my kitchen. I can just show you. Just give me 1 second. So it will look something like this. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So these are like, small laddu kind of a thing, what you can call. And
Okay.
just give them one a day, and it is such a great immunity boosting candy.
Okay. Just give me a minute. Okay, there's a question about hydration. I presume it's more to do because of this is Mayuri asking, because of the summer in
Okay.
India, I think water is your best hydrating agent. But is there anything else which would possibly make a help in hydration in addition to this?
Okay. So, definitely water is the thing that we must be keeping our bodies well hydrated with. But there are many people who cannot drink plain water on its own.
Okay.
They just can't drink because they're so used to drinking some fizzy drinks, or, used to having some sugar laden sweets, the drinks basically. So what we can do is coconut water,
Okay.
buttermilk, chana sattu that I just mentioned. It's an amazing cooling drink that you can introduce. And otherwise, simply infuse your water with the spices or the herbs. It can be lemon, it can be ginger, it can be a cucumber, anything. And that helps to increase the alkalinity of that water. And as I said, viruses do not like alkaline environment. So
Right.
it is the best thing to do to alkalize and infuse water and drink that
Okay.
way.
Great. Just one last question before we let you go. Somebody had asked about people with diabetic and cardiac issues. Does anything in this change in terms of the general guidelines which you have given? Does it change depending upon those underlying health conditions? And would you recommend something in addition to that, especially in these
See,
times?
yeah. So if you have any underlying condition, it can be diabetes, it can be blood pressure, heart related, any condition if you have, that means, the immunity is compromised somewhere. Okay,
Correct.
it may not be immunity related also, but you might have a chances of attracting infections more in these patients. So definitely all the aspects that we discussed today,
Correct.
we must start incorporating them daily. And these patients require a customized meal plan. See, just one diet fits all doesn't help,
Doesn't
right?
help.
So when we talk about diets, we are considering their age, their gender, their
Correct.
many things, their region, their likes, dislikes, medical conditions. So if they have a particular condition, I would be more than happy to help them offline also to
Sure.
plan out a complete meal plan.
Prachi, thank you so much.
No, thank you for the
Anybody else who
opportunity.
has any other queries have to speak to Prachi about anything. I have left details on screen for some time. You could reach out to me on my direct messages, and I will send you these details if you need. And I hope this session has really helped all of you. For me, myself personally, I can say thank you very much,
Oh
Prachi.
no,
It's been
thanks.
great having you here, and thank you so much for agreeing at a very, very short notice. I did not give
That's
you enough
fine.
time, I know that,
No,
but
no.
thank you and really appreciate what you have said to people. People have loved it. I can see it in the comments there, and I hope that your family and all of you are well. So take care of yourself,
Thank you.
and I will hopefully see you soon once all this gets over and we will have a meal together somewhere.
Sure,
Okay.
definitely, 100%. Thank you so much. Namaste, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay. Wow. So brilliant. Great. That was, I think, this was one very nice session from Prachi. It was the way she speaks, the way she tells people without really getting into too much of jargons or any kind of complicated stuff. I think Prachi makes it very much easier for people to understand the concept of nutrition, the concept of diet. It helps a lot. Before this, so this is not the end of this session. We have one more person joining us today. We'll get back to poetry, and today we have a young, dynamic lady joining us from the lovely town of Talegaon, near Pune in Maharashtra, India. This young lady is currently pursuing her chartered accountancy CA. She's a big foodie. She loves to paint, she loves to write, and you can find some of her thoughts at her Instagram handle underscore that underscore everyday underscore thought. So let me see. The liking of poetry is very new for her. So let me see if she is around. And yes, there she is. And I'm going to add her now. Hopefully the connection works. And that is Kashmira Deshmane. Hi Kashmira, how are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Very nice to see you. How is everybody at home and how are you doing?
I'm good. Everyone is fantastic.
Fine, very good. So Kashmira, what poem do you have for us today?
As I'm a financial student, I have a balance sheet of life.
Okay,
So,
go ahead.
okay, fine. So, birth is your opening stock, but death is your closing stock. What comes to you is credit, but what goes from you is a debit. Your ideas are assets, your egos are liabilities. Your happiness is a profit, where your sorrow is your loss. Your soul is a goodwill, but your heart is a fixed asset. Your duties are outstanding expenses, and your friendship is hidden adjustment. Your character is a capital, your knowledge is the investment. Your patience is bank balance. Your thinking is a current account.
Wow.
Your behavior is journal entry. And your attitude is a depreciation. And most importantly, your life auditor is a god. So have a great balance sheet of life.
Brilliant, brilliant, Kashmira. Thank you so much. That was very nice. And presume it suits your profession, and presume you go through it every day.
Exactly.
Literally, all these whatever is there on the in this poem, whatever is there on the right hand side, and trying to balance it, what is there on the left hand side every time, whether it is sorrow, soul, heart, duties, character, or knowledge, is a big challenge for us nowadays today. But thank you so much for reading that to us, and I'm very happy that you are here. It was really nice to have you. Please stay safe. Say hi to everybody at home, and I hope you find some more poetries to read to us someday, because I really want people who have possibly developed this new passion for poetry, whether it is reading or writing poetry. please come and share them with us. It's lovely. You don't need to be a big poet or something, but it needs to be just coming from your heart. So it was very nice of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And you take
Thank you
care.
so much.
Yeah.
You too, take care. Yeah. Bye.
So people, thank you so much for listening to that. This was Kashmira. Yes, Indus Roots, I will share that poetry with you, definitely. A young lady who and literally she's got that poetry right for about and through her profession. I'm glad she was here today. So before and I realized that in a very long time I have not read anything from Charlie Maxey. So I will end today's session with something from the book The Boy, the Mole, the Fox and the Horse by Charlie Maxey. There's a small passage from that book. People who have got this book, you should, who have got, I'm sure are enjoying it, and those who have not should get it. It's the other way around. I'll post a picture of this somewhere. This passage goes like this. It's a conversation between the boy, the mole, the fox, and the horse. I have learned how to be in the present. How? Asked the boy. I find a quiet spot and shut my eyes and breathe. That's good. And then? Then I focus. What do you focus on? Cake, said the mole. The entire premise of this passage is find your cake, find something to focus on. It could be anything in life. I'm sure you will find something good, one small single thing in your everyday lives to focus on. Find your cake and enjoy it. I'm sure each one of you is taking their own efforts to stay safe, keep their families safe. Keep doing that. Each one of us needs each other during these times. Stay strong. This is Amit Sangekar signing off from Beyond Reading with You Season 2 Session 3. Take care.